Good afternoon and welcome to this edition of our daily COVID-19 update show here at Namibia Media Holdings. My name is Deon Hotto, your host, and I'm with Tunahole Mungoba, my co-host today. It's our 28th episode of the show.
Thank you so much for having me as your host today, Toivo. I'm really excited and looking forward to episode 30.
Yeah. Tuna, let's quickly
jump right into it.
No, sanitize first.
Oh, safety first.
Safety first. Yeah, this is how everybody should do it. We hope the shops still do have the stock for sanitizers. But Tuna, quickly, maybe the news around this subject today in the papers today really is about the extension that was announced yesterday by the president. That instead of lifting the lockdown on Friday, it will now be lifted on the 4th of May. Yeah, so a lot of views about that. Some people are saying, okay, so what must happen between now and the 4th of May? People are saying, should we test people? Or some are saying, should we just subscribe to the current rules that have been placed, that have been put in place? So what are you picking up?
I think the one thing, or out of all of the implement or the guidelines from the extension of the lockdown, the one thing that stood out was the ban which was lifted in the informal trading section. I think that is important to note, and even though strict hygiene rules will be adhered to, it goes to show that the government does care about those who are in that section.
Yeah, the informal settlements were, or informal economy was actually very badly affected. Because I mean, the argument has always been that, you know, if I live in Havana, deep in Katutura, why must I climb in a taxi, go to town to buy onion, when I could simply cross the street and go to my informal trader there? But I'm concerned, Tuna. The day before yesterday, a cousin of mine told me he went jogging in Katutura. Then he said that he found people jogging and there was no observation of social distancing. That was the day before yesterday. So yesterday he went again to jog, and then he filmed a video that he shared with me, and I'll play that video now just to show you people. It was in the Koreakab area of Katutura, where people basically were training and they were clamped together. Let's have a look.
This is a Pendoka project. Look how full this is. Where is social distancing here? It's massively full.
That happened yesterday in Katutura. People are concerned that the lockdown, that the people are not actually abiding very well to the guidelines.
To the social distancing.
Social distancing in particular.
Exactly. I think it's also important for us to note that at the moment, we have more than 2 million confirmed cases worldwide. In Africa, we are sitting with 17,008 confirmed cases. And in connected countries such as Namibia, you know, and Southern Africa, we have about 2,557 cases. So cases per 1 million person, that is about 258. That's per 1 million per person. Yeah. So
again telling us exactly why there are. I'm on record. I don't hide my views about why I believe that mass testing is the way, but that is just my personal view. Let's then look at the latest data as far as Namibia is concerned. We now know, of course, that the lockdown has been extended to the 4th of May. That is now 38 days. That will be 38 days in total compared to the original 21 days. travel restrictions. I mean, I forgot to mention this to you, Tuna, earlier, that restrictions have now been expanded to more than just Commerce in the Rongo region. So the whole country now, the movement has been restricted. And of course, detail expected by Friday, this Friday, at the latest. I mean, further details as far as this is concerned. And all the other lockdown measures remain in place. So it means then that there's no, some countries have started relaxing some of these measures. Namibia is still keeping the measures as they are, which I think is important for me. Yeah,
I think one of the measures which caused an uproar on social media was the ban on alcohol not being lifted, although the lockdown has been extended. A few of my close associates were complaining, asking me questions as a media practitioner, if we could find a way to convince government to lift this ban. It's really crazy.
That's crazy, yes, indeed. Our colleague, so again, we ran a poll on our platforms asking for some of the views on essential services, who's working from home, who's home without income. So those are the results of that poll. Very, very worrying in some aspects. But so that is that. But so let's quickly go to the our colleague Johanan Kutsia was at the press center where the daily updates are normally given, and he prepared a short clip for us. Let's watch.
I just want again to emphasize the point that we really ask Namibians, whenever you are outside the country, conduct our nearest mission abroad. They are there for you, and it's very, very important that we know who are our nationals in a specific country. 2, during this difficult time of the coronavirus, we are once again appealing to our nationals that wherever you find yourself, please protect yourself. Comply with the national regulations which are put there to avoid the spread of the virus. It will be on your own interest. It's in the interest of the country where you are, as well as the Namibian nation at large. I would also at this stage would like to thank individuals, groups, and organizations who are providing support and assistance during this difficult time, particularly the support which is to take care of the social well-being of our people, those who have lost the income, particularly those who are benefiting from the informal trading, that now we are making efforts to give them some food. The unemployed and those, the homeless. We really appreciate that support, and we continue to appeal to the nation to play their part. And to the beneficiary, we ask you to make use of that support to the best of your families. Let it benefit you, to sustain you during this difficult time. Again, we are all aware of the government emergency grant is targeting a specific group, and we are asking us really to be in solidarity with one another and to be sincere and honest and to allow the targeted group to apply and for the targeted group to benefit. Don't unnecessarily overload the system to the extent that you make it difficult for those in need to be assisted. This is the time solidarity in its real term is required to enable us to go through this difficult time. And those of you who are going to assist those who might not have cell phones, again, is honesty that is required. We must support one another if we work as a team and support our president, who has really taken this very seriously, will definitely overcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Prime Minister.
There was Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, the Minister of International Relations and also Deputy Prime Minister of Namibia, speaking about the need for us to use that grant very well, fruitfully. I was asking Tonateni Shidudu today of the Minister of Finance as to whether anyone has actually been paid at all. Because those are the kind of questions that I've been getting all morning. You know, has anyone actually received, even a single person? I hope after the show, maybe Mr. Shidudu would have replied to my question. But globally, again, to give a global picture,
Yes.
So far, 2 million people have been infected globally.
Confirmed cases.
Confirmed cases. It could be much, much higher than that. And then we are saying that 491 people have recovered globally. 127 have died. And currently, as we speak, more than 50, about 51,000 are actually in serious critical condition. So it is important that when government says observe social distancing, do not, we understand today, for example, that there's a lot of roadblocks or checkpoints in Windhoek, checking where are the people going exactly, because there are queues of cars and people are saying, but where are the people going? So if you cannot produce a permit showing that you are in the essential service space, then you are likely to be told to go back home.
Not only to go back home, to I think it's also important for our audience to note that there is a fine. Yes. If you are caught, you know, whether it's selling alcohol, breaking the rules of the lockdown.
Yeah, true. Very true. Okay, so we have Deon Hotto, who is a Namibian footballer playing for Wits University in the Premier Soccer League of South Africa, just with a message for our viewers. Let's watch.
Hi, this is Deon Hotto. I have an important message for everyone. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the virus COVID-19. The pandemic is growing in many countries. As we all know, following social distance and the rule stay home. We all know we have a very strict hygienic procedure of washing our hands. Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds with soap and water. Don't touch your eyes, nose or mouth if your hands are not clean. Stay home as much as you can. Keep a safe distance. Cover your cough. Basically, these are the prevention measures that were put in place. In the regard of medical treatment, if you develop a fever, a cough, and a difficulty of breathing, probably seek a medical care. And lastly, stay updated about the coronavirus in your surroundings. Thank you.
An important message shared there by Mr. Deon Hotto, the Namibian footballer, is introduced by Mr. Njebela, my colleague, and my co-host for today. Before we get into other parts of our show, Toivo, I would like to, Deon mentioned that it's very important for us to maintain social distancing.
Yeah.
And one of the industries that are also affected is the sports industry.
Yeah.
What do you think can we do in the meanwhile, or what can sport personalities do in the meanwhile too, besides training? I'm sure that they are.
I mean,
Yeah.
they can only, for them, fitness is very important because their bread is dependent on them being fit.
Yeah.
So they have to train. But also messages like this, like the one Deon just gave us, is important because they command a lot of respect and they command a lot of following locally and globally. So when they speak, a lot of people listen. So that is why we, as producers of this show, believe that putting out those messages from key people like him will make a difference.
Yeah, to drive the message home.
Yes, yes.
So why don't we take a look at the Commerce region and see what our colleagues have been getting around our region. Let's have a look.
So this is the current situation here at the Chinatown Mall in Windhoek. This used to be one of the busiest sites one would encounter in the Windhoek area. A lot of feet moving here continuously, a lot of people, but as you can see now, it's very empty, very few shops and people can be seen. Doors are closed, only essential services are operating in this time. So this shows the extent of this lockdown, where you used to have seen a lot of people and a lot of movement, now has been reduced to only essential services that may operate during this time.
With some of the tents sponsored by MTC, over 200 men, women and children are accommodated at the Katutura Youth Complex here in Windhoek. As you can see, these are the tents the residents reside in, and outside those tents they have set up tippy taps for them so that the residents could practice hygiene and keep washing their hands oftenly. Only 2 people are allowed to stay in a tent, and the committee has set up different kinds of programs for these locals so that they can keep themselves busy during the day. They also receive the meals such as breakfast and dinner and no lunch.
Good afternoon, people. As Mondre is met my massacre and my bread. Just wanted to ask, is there a ways van onze wash dance challenge? The Oyo dance troupe created a short piece om vir julle te leer how to wash your hands properly.
Dit is so gemakkelijk gemaakt dat jy gaan nie net tot by die zink om jou hande te was, jy gebruik jy hand sanitizer om jou hande te was. Dit is soos 'n dans wat jy doen, maar as 'n challenge. Jy sit jou video op, jy maak jou video, jy post jou video, op die einde van die dag is daar 'n prys vir jou om te kan wen.
Okay, so julle kan ons kry op Facebook, YouTube en Instagram. En wacht, ken jy wat is die lekkerste ding? Jy kan pryse wen, my bro. En as jy die video opzet, jy kan hom spice. Jy kan jou eie goede insit.
The challenge was created by the Oyo. So, kom ons doen het.
Away, and just don't forget, join us, stay safe, and have fun.
Thank you.
So we are only selling babies product, cosmetics and essential needs. So cosmetics things are such like these things which are here: Vaseline, lotion, washing powders. And here when you come here, as you see, we put this lead salted, so customers are not allowed to buy these things which are having the lead salted. You come this side again. This main stuff, we are not selling main stuff. And here we are allowing this pregnant women to come buy the sleeping wears. So we are allowing them to buy the gowns and these sleeping wears. And here again at the hair, we are also selling them. And when you come to boys department and three boys department, we are not selling it. When we are talking about baby things, we talk from 0 to 24 months. So we can also buy babies' clothes. We can even buy the bottles.
In order to meet the demand of all hospitals and medical centers throughout the entire country, the Namibia Blood Transfusion Service normally needs to collect at least 150 units of blood each and every weekday. That means that 150 individuals around the country need to donate blood each and every weekday in order to help us have a sufficient supply of blood throughout the country. Currently, over the preceding 3 weeks, as a result of the declaration of the state of emergency and the subsequent lockdown of the Khomas as well as the Ronga regions, we have been unable to meet these demands and have been collecting under 100 units of blood each and every day, leading us to use up all the reserves that we had or had accumulated over this period. We currently have a 3-day blood stock. That means we only have sufficient blood supply for the next 3 days. And with the Easter period fast approaching, when we will not be able to collect blood over these days, we are urging all individuals to donate blood at the following places. We have our centers, 2 centers in Windhoek, a center in Walvis Bay, as well as one in Swakopmund and Oshakati. Our headquarters in 35 Tal Street, Auspenplatz, will be open from Monday to Friday, excluding public holidays, from 7 in the morning up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Our United House Center in Independence Avenue in Windhoek will be open from 8:30 in the morning up until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We also have our Swakopmund Center, which is located in Ferdinand Stick Street, right behind Namib High School. That center is open on Mondays, Wednesdays.
Welcome back. I think the most scary thing, Tuna, that has been said there is blood reserves running dry.
Yeah.
That is that is very, very, very critical for our country. But without wasting time, let's go to an interview that I had on Skype with my colleague, or our colleague rather, Ogeto Greg, who is in Hardap region. He is specifically in Rehoboth, and this is what we had to say. Ogeto, thank you very much for joining us. Please share with us an overview of what is happening in Rehoboth at the moment.
Thank you very much, Trevor. Yes, here in Rehoboth, it's a beautiful sunny Wednesday morning. As you can see, life is going on, although at a very reduced pace. You can definitely feel the impact of the current restrictions, the lockdown, which is also applicable to Rehoboth town. And although people are going ahead with their daily lives, don't know if you saw in the background, there was some maintenance going on at on the roof of the Roman Catholic Church here. At the same time, the streets are quite empty, and there's definitely no rush anywhere. Today I'm visiting at the St. Mary's Rehoboth District Hospital, which is really the center of health here in the town. You'll see the board is here right behind me. And I've organized to speak to some of the officials about the readiness of the town for the coming COVID threat. But I can tell you that people are practicing social distancing, and also that there's a lot of emphasis on keeping the hands clean. So it looks like everything is in order here in Rehoboth, and people are doing their best so that everybody can stay healthy.
Yeah, sure. Just tell us also, Ogeto, about what the likely impact would be on Rehoboth of this new extension to the 4th of May. I mean, for smaller towns, the impact must be even harder.
Definitely more significant. But like I spoke to a local taxi driver this morning, and he says that they're just taking it one day at a time and trying to go on with their lives despite the situation. But you can see from the business that I've noticed happening in town, it's very subdued. Most of the shops are closed. There's really not a lot of activity on the streets. In fact, here at the hospital, there's a little bit more activity at most places that I've visited so far this morning.
Okay, no, that should be it for now. Algeto, thank you very much for your time. We'll come back to you again. Welcome back. A lot is being said in Windhoek, in particular the capital city. You know, what kind of services is the city, the city fathers, as many like saying, are providing to the residents. Yesterday, I spoke to the CEO of the city of Windhoek, Robert Kahimise, to give us details of what the city is doing and how the city, as a matter of fact, is impacted by the current lockdown. Let's watch. So in this segment today, we are joined by the Chief Executive Officer of the City of Windhoek, Robert Kahimise, to talk to us about how the city is coping with the measures put in place around COVID-19. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Toyo, for having me.
Yeah. First things first. You have a lot of responsibility as a city in times like this, especially in providing services in areas like the informal settlements of the city and whatnot. Maybe walk us through in what the city has done so far in combating the scourge.
I think even the viewers would recall right at the start of the lockdown that there was a hiccup on the water provision.
Yeah.
It was already dealt with. What we were trying to do is to upload a certain number of units. I think we are looking at 2,000 liters per water token for free to the residents in the informal settlements. That did not work, so we fall back on bypassing all the water standpipes in the informal settlements. In number, these water standpipes are over 1,200, 300 there. And that process has been completed to date. If there are any standpipe that is not have been availed, we have got our contact center open that is available to the public and also to raise issues through either the honorable councillors themselves or most of us that are also on standby to actually respond. So the biggest issue has been the water provision to everyone. And our biggest hurdle, because we are having the biggest informal settlement in Namibia. 40,000 plus dwellings, 40,000 plus dwellings. In the informal settlements, we have people living there over 100,000. Definitely that has taken a lot of planning and resources, and I'm happy to report that the private sector, the way they responded in assisting the council in availing water for free to the residents in the informal settlement has been really amazing. So there are two ways that we are providing water for free in the informal settlements through the water standpipes that I've just alluded to. The challenge now is mainly possible wastage of those water, because people are not using water tokens as intended earlier. Now you just go to any water standpipe, there is a tap, you open water, you use the water. Where initially we wanted to control it through water tokens, although it's also free. So the other means is the water tanks that are also out there in the field. We intend to put up more than 100 tanks. Predominantly, apart from 20 tanks that belongs to council, the rest are coming from the private sector. Yeah, he has donated those water tanks.
Indeed. The city must have taken a knock then, providing water for free. I know that the corporates have come to meet you halfway, but there's a bulk of that is actually coming from your own reserves in terms of financial. What has been the impact on your finances?
The impact financially, I think in the first 7 days, when you compare to normal business days, that was not so huge, but over the last few days, we have seen what we usually collect as a council has taken a dramatic drop. So those are signals that surely if the lockdown continues, council will definitely experience cash flow problems. Yeah, so definitely it's going to give us a tough time. We have just compared more or less under normal circumstances. The colleagues have reported we have received like 68 million. We usually receive around 40 to 60 million under normal circumstances, not in 3 weeks as we have received this far. So the signals are very clear if the lockdown continues, but also to go back to the possible water losses or financial losses to council due to free water. We have actually ring-fenced that specific free water in the informal settlements. Under normal circumstances, we have estimated around 1.3 over this period, 1.3 million. So if it is maybe 2 months, slightly close to 3 million, and we have actually submitted our claim. That is for consumption. We have submitted our claim through our line ministry to actually get a subsidy or some financial assistance from the line ministry, from government through the line ministry. We have also received 100,000 from MTC. It was well publicized. That is also to mitigate the consumption part. Where private sector have come in is mainly on the capital part. They have subsidized most of the infrastructure out there. As you might recall, Social Security Promise 3.3, which we have received, mainly also on the capital part, on the infrastructure part. So that also involves sanitation part, as well as the provision of water. So that is a strategy that we've put in place. Surely the signals are there. Surely we are going to feel the financial, especially cash flow challenges. But we'll keep the public informed. If we have to reach a stage where we cannot pay salaries, definitely we will raise our voice.
Indeed. And the national budget is not, it's about to be passed. We hope it will be passed in the next couple of weeks. And an institution like yours will be relying very much, will be hoping very much that there's a good provision for it there. But under the circumstances now, that will be also a challenge, isn't it?
It is a challenge, maybe also just to put it into context. The city is not surviving on any subsidy from government as far as our operational budget is concerned. That needs to be clear. As far as our operational budget is concerned, the operational budget that is usually shared with the stakeholders, including public, it is managed purely based on what we receive from the ratepayers, as well as for consumption of water and electricity. And then we have a huge social budget in the form of our public safety, city police costing us around 300 million, emergency services, public transport. That is our social budget, our ECDs that we are also managing to the tune of around 600 to 700 million per annum. So we ring-fence it, we just cross-subsidize within the city itself. But we heavily rely on government on our capital budget, especially on sustainable water provision going forward, also on the informal settlement. We rely on government. We were privileged to have received 50 million from central government through our line ministry for the upgrade of the informal settlement. So on the capital part, surely we need government input and subsidy there.
Indeed. Let's talk about one of the initially feared hotspots for the spread of this virus was municipal or just public areas, which would include the municipal markets. What are your strategies around, especially once this thing is over? What are some of the lessons that you've learned from this thing that to say going forward, maybe we should do this or that better?
Thank you for that question. It's a good question. Already as we speak, as technocrats, we are looking at post-COVID-19.
Yeah.
How do we normalize? What are our interventions once the situation normalizes? As people know, in Windhoek, we have closed our markets, our formal markets. And actually, even street vendors are not allowed.
Yes.
Should any directive come from government, probably on any extension of the lockdown, and that these markets needs to be opened, because it's also essential, because especially those that provide food.
Yes.
We have residents in Windhoek, believe me, that live from hand and mouth.
Yes.
And not on a weekly or monthly basis, on a daily basis. Those are the people which we risk as a nation of suffering from starvation.
Sure.
They buy a fat cook daily. They buy a potato daily. And that's why, under normal circumstances, we have also now prepared, should we be requested to open those markets, with strict implementation of the precautionary measures, social distancing. But it's difficult, to be honestly. If you just look at one market, just the people that works there, it's 250 already. Now imagine now accommodating the residents, organizing the queues. It's a huge challenge. And that's why initially our council position has always been, let's just stay away from it, unless we are going to defeat the whole purpose of the lockdown. But we have prepared in case council is requested to open those markets. So definitely we are prepared, and even post COVID-19, we are already working on it, on ensuring that we have a far better formalized, even street vendors or even vendors that operate within the borders of Windhoek. We are closely working on it, and with time, council will express itself.
Indeed.
How we are going to deal with that going forward.
Indeed. The final question, Robert, from me is around homeless people. The city is teeming with a lot of them, children, street children, and all these kind of people. We've seen on the news some assistance being extended to them here and there, but from the city side, what is being done?
Also, the public needs to take note, irrespective, in the absence of the COVID-19, we did try to accommodate homeless and street people. It didn't work. It worked for a few weeks. After a month or so, they were back on the street. So I think there is a bigger problem. There is a huge social component to it, why we are experiencing and having these street kids, especially on the streets. It's not just about giving them shelter. It's not enough. So that's the one issue. We have also a big population, as you might have noticed, of homeless people currently also being accommodated at the youth center in Katutura, at the Commercial Stadium as well. And that number has been growing over the last few days, but I think now we have a clear number of people that have been accommodated there. As part of our strategy on post-COVID-19, is one area that needs serious attention. And believe me, council is not in a position to only address the problem of the homeless people in Windhoek, and even any other local authority. The problem is bigger than what we can see and what we have experienced this far. But we are going to put something on the table. We are going to involve definitely central government, the regional council, the Red Cross of this world, and other stakeholders, so that we can find a sustainable solution to the homeless and the street kids in our towns. It's bigger. And there's a lot of people in Windhoek. It has also now been I think exacerbated by, as you know, the SWAT-TF ex-COFOOD members. We understand big numbers, between 300 to 400, if not more. So if you look at the homeless people currently in Windhoek, they are also part and parcel of that segment. We need to find a long-term solution to these problems.
Indeed. Robert, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate your time and the good information you shared with us.
Equally, thanks for having us.
Sure. Thank you. That was Robert Kahimise, the CEO of the City of Windhoek, speaking to us about what you have just heard him speak about. Thank you very much. Welcome back. Tuna, what is next?
Up next, we have some couch tips from our marketing department.
So in this segment today, we are joined by the
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Crystal, and welcome to our daily couch tips. I just had an interesting read. I'm reading the Junior magazine, and it basically gives us so much information. Here is even a whole chart of our child's milestones. So if you'd like, please get this on our online archives. That's on our Flipper pages, and enjoy this magazine. So for our couch tip today, we will basically be sitting back in our chair, and then I'm going to cross my legs, and I would like to just keep my back straight, and all we're going to do is stretch our necks. So I'm going to pull my head towards the right hand side, just gently. Remember that we're going to breathe in while we're doing this, back to center, and then pull to your left hand side. Just like that, back to center. You can do that 5 times each on both sides, 5 times, and this will help you relax. It's going to take that stress off your shoulders. Remember that we get stressed at home and at work. So now that you're at home, I'm sure it's a little bit tense, so you can do that exercise. If you have any couch tips you'd like to share with us, please WhatsApp us on 0811 7010. Thank you for watching. Keep safe. Goodbye.
As is our tradition here on the show, on a daily basis, we bring you some feel-good images or videos. That one tells us, Tuna, that people are indoors now, so nature is on its own now. Look at that seat by the beach, unoccupied. What is that on the? So it doesn't matter now. But again, this one is from. It's a sunset at Norochama River Resort. Also seemingly very quiet, and there isn't a lot of people movement. So it's nature on its own. Maybe those are the silver linings for the current storm that we are facing. But those are the numbers on the screen for those that are willing to just share. Anybody can share the photos or videos. Something that is nice, something that is positive, that can really keep the chips up in an otherwise very dull moment for our country. Also then this sums up the show for today. Tuna, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Just like to make sure that our viewers do have the number 0811 7010. That is the number to send us any positive content, as mentioned by Toivo. So this could range to you spending time with your family, how are you keeping busy during the lockdown, working from home, any exercises that you could also share with our marketing department. So we'd really, really love to see how our viewers and our audience at large.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you.
Goodbye.